Hello, Mike Bradley here again. Hope you're all doing well, as always. I bring you the video you've all been waiting for. The answers to all those questions. It's here at last. I was hoping to do this last week, but I had a bit of a crazy week last week. I was at the Isle of Wight Festival last weekend, and it was a weekend. I was stuck in traffic for 14 hours. It took me 23 hours to get to my tent. It was just a mud bath, a pigsty, a feral pigsty. So yeah, it was a bit of an adventurous weekend. And then I came back, I had a cold sore, hence this unshaven Johnny Depp-esque beard going on at the moment. I had to cover it up. Thankfully it's pretty much gone now, thank God. And I put my back out as well. So yeah, it's been a good week. But here we are. I finally get round to doing the answers to your questions, and thank you ever so much all of you who submit your questions in to me, and I will now endeavour to apply. Let's go, number one! So on my trusty bits of paper I have here with all the questions on, from the lovely Assassin 0402. He's asked, how do you practice now, and how in the beginning of playing? I think he means how in the beginning of my playing did I practice. Well, my method of practicing now, I literally just play. I don't really think of it in terms of practicing per se. It's almost like a Hail Mary, like I must go and do 50 press-ups now. As you can tell, I do press-ups all the time. But yeah, so I don't necessarily think of it as practicing. I literally just play the guitar, and then any ideas I'm having in my head, I try and get out on the guitar. So that's a lick, a chord progression, a chord I've never played before, but I can hear this strange sound in my head. I'll try and incorporate it in my playing. But then again, saying that, if I feel my picking's gone down a bit, I will sit there and practice my picking. But I don't necessarily sit there and do, you know, like chromatic runs, 1, 2, 3, 4, or anything like that. Exercises, I try and do it in a musical situation, and then always trying to play along to music. So if it's a backing track or playing along to other people. So that's kind of my method of practicing now. It's just playing music, and the more you play, having a guitar in your hand, it will just be there. Even if I'm working on a song, I'll just keep going over and over and over it, really, really slowly. And it's got to be slowly, because it's literally building up muscle memory, you know. And then if you tell yourself that if you're telling your hand you want it to be this certain way by doing it slowly, when you speed it back up, or when you go to speed it up, it should, touch wood, all come together. So that's my method of practicing now. How I was practicing when I was younger, or in my early days of playing, shall I say, is pretty much what I'm doing, same thing I'm doing now. I went to the ACM in Guildford, and when I was there I'd always kind of, you know, come home and always do like a minimum of 2 hours of practicing, and I would do like, you know, warm-ups for like 15-20 minutes, then I'd work on my picking, then I'd work on my legato, and then I would it would basically go for the folder session style. So I'd be working on, you know, playing the style B.B. King one week to Mark Knopfler the other, to Jeff Beck, to Eddie Van Halen, you know, that kind of thing. And I would learn a lot of songs. I learned a lot of songs, that kind of helped. And again, like I was just saying, you know, I just try and have the guitar in my hand all the time, because, you know, you can never not, you know, the more it's in your hand, the more you're physically holding it and playing it, it becomes, sounds a bit hippie-ish, but a part of your body, you know. So that was how I used to practice, which is pretty much the same how I practice now. Hope that's answered your question. Thanks. Question 2 from the lovely Nick Guitarfi. Hello buddy, good little blogs the other day I was reading it, very good. He's asked, congrats mates, very well deserved. I'd like to ask, what is the best Telecaster you've ever played and why? Good question. As you may or may not know, I like my Telecasters. I would be biased and say my Telecaster, which is this bad boy here. It was his birthday yesterday. I've had it for over a year now, which is kind of scary. I would have said this, and I still stand, this is a great guitar, I love this guitar. But the other day I was in West Side Music, which is down Denmark Street. I spent the afternoon down there with Pete and the guys down there. and I got to play this Nash Telecaster. I don't know if there's a model number afterwards, but basically it's like a blonde finish, humbucker in the neck, single coil in the bridge pickup, beat to shit, and it was a lovely, lovely guitar. It was so nice that there was no finish on the back, so it was all completely worn, and it just played like a dream. I don't know what the neck pickup is. I know the bridge was a Damasio. I've got a feeling the neck might have been. But that was a really, really nice guitar. Nash guitars by Bill Nash. He makes them. I think it's just him and his son, they make the guitars. They're quite pricey. I think this was about 1,700 quid. I would love to have bought it, and I do want to buy a Nash guitar. But yeah, that was a great, great Telecaster. So I'll probably say that one. I think it was like based on a 62 Telecaster, you know. I remember 62 something. But yeah, that Nash Telecaster and West Side Music, which I played about 2 weeks ago, that I probably would say is the best Telecaster I've played. It's really nice. And then next to that, Lola. Question 3 by the legendary man himself, the Henry Wilt. Thanks very much for the comment as well, man, or to all of you, but you sent a nice little congratulations there, so thanks a lot, man, I appreciate it. He asked if you were going to be stranded on a desert island and could only take one album, what would it be? Also, I wouldn't mind hearing a bit of your bio and your dreams, plans for the future, musically that is, not being too stalkerish. Yeah, right. You little minx. I'll be outside now. My favourite album if I was stranded on a desert island. I would have to go. I'm going to go for Richie Kotzen's 24 Hours. Richie Kotzen's latest album he released. I'm a massive Kotzen fan. I've been for years and years. I mean, the first time I saw him, I think it was about 2003, and yeah, he's a legend, that man. He's amazing. So I would say Richie Kotzen's 24 Hours, but that was very hard. I was thinking, no, I'm going to go with that. I'm sticking with it. I'm not saying anything else. I ramble a lot. Richie Kotzen's 24 Hours. And you asked about a bio for me. Well, sure, and dreams and plans for your future. Okay, well, I'm Mike Bradley, as you all know. I've been playing guitar for 16 years next month. What's the date today? July 4th. So yeah, I turned 28 in August. Yeah, 16 years playing nearly. I started teaching guitar when I was 17. I went, like as I was saying earlier, I went to the ACM, and when I came out of there, I was literally like, oh, now what? I was working in Waitrose and you know, on the patisserie counter selling bread, and then someone working there asked if I taught. I was like, yeah, why not? Gave it a go, and I kind of fell into it, and it just snowballed, and I started teaching at schools and colleges and whatnot. So that's how I kind of got into teaching. So I've been doing that ever since, and taught, yeah, probably about 100 odd pupils now, yeah, a lot of people over my years. And then as well as that, I was in a band called Biff Tech, and we were doing really, really well. We got the headline of Shepherd Bush Empire, the Astoria, me Fiddler. Pretty much we played every single big venue in London, played Guildfest a few times, supporting Paul Weller and Blondie and Katie Mellower, etc, etc. But yeah, we were doing really, really well. Playing Shepherd Bush Empire is definitely one of the biggest highlights for my original music. You know, it was a great day. We were on the verge of signing with one of the big labels, but unfortunately the singer kind of fucked it up. As singers do. I'm sorry, they do. I'm sorry. But yeah, so that was a bit of a upsetting moment. And then the singer ended up leaving, we got another singer in. I didn't really click with him, and it just kind of slowly dissolved. And after that I was in, there's quite a few different bands over the years, and was on MTV quite a bit with one particular band. And then from that I kind of fell into session playing, and again that kind of snowballs along. and it still is snowballing. But yeah, I've got to play with some cool people, some famous people, some people coming up the ranks. And yeah, I'm continuing doing that, as well as still doing, you know, original stuff and all that kind of thing. And you know, through doing session playing, I've got to play to quite big crowds. Yeah, like kind of 10,000 people for one session once, and yeah, it's been quite cool. So hopefully there'll be more of that. And I just love playing guitar. Or playing music in general is great. So yeah, that's kind of been me. I've been essentially a full-time musician now, a professional musician for the last 8 years nearly. That's about 20, I think. Yeah, 7 or 8 years. When I officially stamped myself self-employment. So yeah, that's a bit about me, and future plans and dreams. Continue what I'm doing, you know, as long as I don't know. I've gone this long without having a real job. I've only ever had real one job, and that was working in Waitrose when I left school. So yeah, to continue doing this, but I continue making a living through playing music, playing guitar. I want to get as high as I possibly can go, you know, be it in the session world, be it as an artist. I like to do kind of like Steve Lukather did, you know, he's a massive session. Not that I'm putting myself in that league, just like to quickly say that, but he was probably one of the biggest session guitar players out there, and he was his artist in its own right. So that's quite a big inspiration to aim for. But yeah, just continue being an employed musician. That's my plan, and I think that should be all our plans, just to continue being employed and to earn a living, but have fun doing it, because what's a better job than playing guitar for a living? So yeah, that's my dream, just to keep evolving, becoming a better player, and to keep going up this musical ladder we call the music industry. Thanks for your question, good question. Mr. Sport, I'm assuming he's a mister. Bless him, he's given me 10 questions here, so I want to try and do them in quick fire. So, number 1. Smoked or unsmoked? Gotta be smoked. Hendrix or Jeff Beck? That's a toughie, that's a toughie. Jeff Beck, Hendrix. I'm gonna go Jeff Beck, Hendrix. Because instrumental music, after about 3 songs I start nodding off. I like songs, so I'm gonna have to go for Hendrix. But I love Jeff Beck, but Hendrix. What is your favourite curry? Korma. I don't like spicy food, so I'm a pussy. Go with korma. Foster's or Coors Light? Foster's. The best gig you've ever been to? Foo Fighters last year at Isle of Wight Festival. 2011 Isle of Wight Festival. They're probably the greatest band I've ever seen live. Amazing. Foo Fighters. Best guitarist you've ever seen live? Easy one. Guffy Govern. What guitar epiphany have you had? To practice. Just to play the guitar, play as much as you possibly can, and yeah, keep going. And also, I remember when I learnt the modes when I was at college, and you know, the big kind of thing, modes, but literally it's just building up. No, you've got Ionian, Dorian, Phrygian, Lydian, Mixed Lydian, Aryan, Locrian. It's literally the 7 notes on a major scale. So if you play C major, from C major scale starting on the C note, you get Ionian. We play C major scale again, but starting on the D note, you've got D Dorian. Play C major scale again, but starting the E note, you've got E Phrygian, etc, etc. And then when I thought about it that way, I was like, ah, that's the modes, piece of piss. So yeah, that practice and the modes. How do you remain motivated? I remain motivated by seeing guitar players who are my peers, so to speak. So people like I mentioned earlier, Guthrie Govan, Richie Kotzen, Steve Ray Vaughan, Phil X is a new kind of guitar inspiration, shall I say. Watching them kind of inspires me to want to get better, because I see them and they're amazing players, and you're like, oh, I want to do that. And so yeah, kind of watching them. Also as well, wanting just to strive, continue getting better on the instrument, and to progress in my career as a musician. That motivates me. And also it gets me girls. That really motivates me. Are you in a band? I recently just left one. But as I'm a session player, I play in quite a few different bands at a time. But my own actual band, at the moment, I don't have a current original band going, but I will be soon. Do you want to be in a band, if ever? Of course, playing music with others is what it's all about. So yeah, I always like being in bands. Tip I'll give to people, try and be in about 2 or 3 bands at one time. Because especially if you're trying to succeed in this industry, if you've got 3 going, 3's better than 1. That wore me out, all that thinking. Right, next question. We've got the lovely Mrs. I can't pronounce your name, I do apologise. Mrs. Nifmevinga. Mrs. Nifmevinga. You know who you are. Thank you for your question. A couple of questions you've asked actually, but your first one here is favourite guitar licks. Yeah, I need a guitar, don't I? So, oh, and a guitar appears. Yay! Right, so some licks. What are my favourites? Well, at the moment, I'm getting into my arpeggios, more arpeggios in my playing. I love pentatonics, as we all do, nothing wrong with them. But putting arpeggios in just gives it another bit of colour, sets you apart from everyone else who are, you know, doing the old school blues licks, you know. So the kind of arpeggios I'm doing isn't necessarily the sweep, sweep stuff, even though I do that stuff as well, but kind of more of an open sound than arpeggio is the only way I can describe it. Just say, honestly, that kind of. So as you can see at the end there, I kind of went down your standard arpeggio shape. That's it in a sweep, but I kind of, the way I kind of phrased it was a bit different. And there's that little idea here. So this would be an F arpeggio shape. And in case you're thinking, what am I doing? I'm going 8 to 12, and then you've got 10 on the 4th string, and then 9 on the 3rd string. Now that on its own is just a standard F arpeggio. But then I'll go to the 12th fret on the 3rd string, and then slide 1 fret forward and then back again, and then back up. That kind of thing. And I probably stole this from Richie Kotzen. Just through listening to it, it kind of came in, but oh, you don't want to sit on that because it's a wrong note, it's an A flat, which sounds not good next to an F note, but in passing it sounds quite cool. And then when you kind of basically going through the chords in that given keys, I can use a C arpeggio in it as well, which I linked into. Another lick which I kind of do a lot, I don't think I really call it a lick, but I do a lot of slides in my playing, and that comes up quite a bit. For instance, I might those kind of things. So I guess you could call it a lick, but just in case you think, hey, I want to know that as well, what would be a cool one? That'd be quite cool. Okay, let's do that. So what I'm doing, so I'm in E minor, pentatonic, so I'm on a shape 5, 10th fret, sliding to 12, and then sliding back to 10 again. And then going to the 12th fret, 2nd string, then going to the 10th fret, 2nd string, and then the same thing, slide 10 to 12 on the 2nd string, so you get, and then 12 on the 3rd string. and I'm going down the scale like that. So after that, I've got 9 on the 3rd string, sliding to 12, and then back again to 9, and then 12 on the 4th string. And then after being on that 12th fret 4th string, I'm going back to 9, and then sliding to 7 on the 3rd string. To get that happening. And then, don't know what I did now, I think I'm into the 9th and the 4th string. To get that happening. And then 7 on the 3rd, and I did like a quick, really quick slide. That kind of thing. So you're going 7 to 9, back and forth really quick. And then finish on, might as well finish on the E as we're in the key of E. Something like that, but it's not written in stone, do it if you want. But I like that kind of stuff, kind of sliding about, and it gives it a bit of a interesting, unorthodox way of playing some cool stuff on the guitar. Hopefully that helped.